What's up everybody, Big Ramos LSD, back this week with video number 14. I'm 2 days late. I tried something new this week. All the footage that I have for other videos, I didn't want to post this week for one reason or another. So I brainstormed, made art, and made the video all in about 6 days. This week I'm showing you the full process of how to make a manga / comic book cover. It's the same shit from start to finish in watercolor paint. From the idea to the thumbnail sketch to the line art to the fully painted watercolor piece. The idea this week came from trying to think what could have a universal appeal, what hella people would like. So after doing some research, I decided to go with Mikasa Ackerman, and I put a jacket on her inspired by X-Men's Cyclops. Cyclops with the coat on, like in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I think. That Cyclops coat is too clean.
Perfect!
I've always wanted to get one in real life. I need to see what's up with that. I was thinking of what kind of ugly Titan to add when it hit me. I made the Titan a Sentinel from X-Men instead. As far as the materials I used, it's inexpensive brushes and paint and paper. I go over all that in a lot of detail in my first video on this channel. Go watch it, check it out. Sorry for the long intro. Let's get to the art, tips, and music. After coming up with the concept, my next step was to thumbnail a couple ideas. The first idea I thought was cool, but I didn't like it that much. There's potential, but I didn't like it like that. My second attempt is where everything clicked. This is a very important part of my process because this is pretty much where everything gets worked out. Now it's all there. The feel, the gesture, the vibe, it's all there in the thumbnail. The perspective and the light and shadows too. It's all figured out in the thumbnail. There's a really good video on Dan Breadshaw's channel called How to Draw Any Scene in Perspective Tutorial. It gives examples of pretty much all perspective angles possible. I made my own examples shown here with little characters thrown in it just for my own reference, but you're welcome to use it too. I use that and looking at anime backgrounds as reference to get my background to look like how I wanted, how I saw it in my mind, in my mind's eye. cut my big Excel paper down to 11 by 17 inches. I used a piece of paper from a comic book paper pack as like my template. It has all the little margin lines and blue lines that go on a comic book page. The big Excel sheets come in 12 by 18, I think, but at that size it won't fit in my scanners, so I have to cut them down to size. And I think that's just the regular size that a manga page is or a comic book page is drawn at. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's right. I know that's what it is for comic books. I'm not sure what it is for the mangas. I used a paper cutter and a cutting board that I've had for hell long. I used my cheap $40 to $60 projector that I got from Amazon to project a picture of my thumbnail that I took from my iPhone and projected it onto the cut down piece of paper. I would normally scan the drawing, but I did it in a sketchbook that's shaped like a Bible.
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
So I can't really scan it like that. After cropping it in Photoshop, I was ready to project it onto the piece of paper. It's kind of a bitch, but overall, it's an easy way to transfer it and get the same feel that you had in the thumbnail. And it's pretty fast. You could do all that by eye, but it's way harder. There's tons of ways that you could transfer things, but this is the way that I find is easiest for myself. Now that I had that placement down and loose line art in, I started to refine that line art. The designs of the characters and the clothing and the weapons in Attack on Titan are pretty complicated. I had to look at a cool amount of reference to get the look right. I also need to check out the show or the manga. Once the line art was locked in, it was painting time. Here's a trick to get pretty even coverage in the background or in whatever area you want. First, get the area that you want wet with clean water. Imagine you had paint on it and just paint it, but it's just water. Not hella wet, but a cool amount. Then attack that area with paint, starting from one side and go all the way to the other. This should help you get an even coat wherever you try to lay it down. Surprisingly, it works pretty good for me, because before I would try and do it just kind of like without doing that initial getting it wet first, and you end up getting streaks and patches and shit like that. So like, it comes out pretty cool. I'm sure if the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Also, when doing watercolors, it helps to do your backgrounds first. Just makes everything easier. Keep everything light in the backgrounds. Nothing's gonna be as dark as everything that's happening in the foreground up front or in the midground. Using purples and blues in the backgrounds help to push things back, and if you use colors like red or orange, it helps to bring them forward. The next thing I did was work on the sentinel head and the mound to get warmed up and in the zone. The sentinel head and the mound ended up looking pretty clean. Once the head and the mound were worked up to a certain level, I moved on to the main attraction, Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan. I looked up who's the most popular female character in anime, and she popped up a gang of times. So at that point, I ran with her. I need to check out the IP like I said before. Again, those Attack on Titan designs are pretty complex, especially the weapons. Reference is your best friend in most cases. Like always, painting is all about layers and buildup. At first, it might not look like much or 100% right, but by the end of it, it's a whole nother story. As an example, check out the sentinel head from right now to where we first started. So I worked it up to a certain level then went back to the line art. This is what I call inking with pencils. Check out video 13 on this channel to check out my philosophy on inking. The line art around the figure, the sentinel head, and the mound all make it stand out from the background even more. I didn't use any pencils in the background to push it back even further. Like I said, the weapons were a bitch. Now I go back to the paint to refine things further. I bounce back from the paint to the pencils till it all looks better, till it all gets worked up. One thing I kind of did on the fly was adding shadows to the houses in the background, and I really like how that turned out. I fucked up a couple times by flicking paint on accident. I tried to clean them up as best as I could, but it's not always possible. You might have to just pivot or change the piece to make it work. Be careful, especially with watercolors. They're a lot less forgiving than like oil painting or gouache or acrylic. You could kind of dab up the paint or use your brush with some clean water on it to like try to pick it up, but it doesn't always work all the way. You gotta be careful, you could end up fucking some shit up. if you work it wrong, you might pull up the paper to where no matter what you do, that little spot is fucked up now. So be careful. Darkening things and making sure you're happy with everything can pretty much take infinity time. Try to always make your deadlines, even if they're self-imposed, just as practice for the real world when it starts to happen for reals. Like this week, I wanted my video out by Friday. I tried to get it out by Friday, but didn't make it. The reason why I really wasn't tripping is because the channel's not really cracking like that yet, so it doesn't really matter. As long as I get the video out this week, it's still good. I was just trying something new and it took a little longer than I thought. At the end of the day though, you should try to make your deadlines. I wish I could have God damn it.
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake!
I wish I could have got it done by Friday, but the piece might not have been as good as it is now. I figured it would have been worth the 2 extra days I took to finish it and get it to the point that I really wanted than just throwing it out there so it could be done by Friday. Trying to have it be at a certain level that I was going to be happy with, and it ended up being a more complex design than I thought, made me take some more time to get it to where I wanted it. But I really like how it turned out in the end. That's some of the reasons why it didn't come out till Sunday. The final touches have been going on. I could have kept working on it, kept going on, but my self-imposed deadline came up. Also, the more you work on it, you could potentially fuck it up. So it's important to know when to call it quits. Watercolors can be an asshole. Watercolors can be a bitch. The final product ended up dope as fuck. I'm hella happy with how it turned out, so let's get to the final shots. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all liked it. Did y'all like it? This coming week, I should have the video out again on Friday. But Saturday and Sundays are options too. As I get the ball rolling and I try new things and the channel starts to grow, then I'll probably be way more of a stickler to like a specific day. I want it to be Fridays. That's always the goal. But Saturday or Sunday, shit, who cares? Right now, who cares? Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to not miss a video. Not 100% sure yet what I'm gonna put out next week, but as always, there's gonna be something. All right, y'all, peace.